Hello, hello, my beautiful sacred feminine. So wonderful to be reaching out to you and sharing with you today. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for your presence. It has been a while since I put a video up. I kind of have taken a little detour and moved over and started working with men more and focusing my energy into supporting men to return to their own feminine energies is so important for where we're at in our society, right? With the imbalance of the feminine and the masculine. So really supporting men to reconnect with their feminine energies. I feel like uniquely skilled to support men as I've been in the adult entertainment industry for so long and know men and their energies very well. And yeah, so it really spoke to me to support them in their process and their spiritual healing, and so much healing around sacred sexuality, right? So that's been, that's my heart is so into that. I'm so passionate about that outlet and that support system, and but I'm so passionate about supporting women as well. So I knew the time would come when I would kind of move back into this arena a bit more. So we're just gonna see what happens. But I'm very inspired to connect with you right now after I just was at an ayahuasca retreat in Sacred Valley in Peru, and it has been just hugely life-changing and transformative for me, and just so much clearing and purging and awareness and insight and wisdom came through, so much healing that way far surpassed any expectations. I was trying to not go in with expectations, right? But of course, if we're going to Peru for an ayahuasca retreat, we have some intention, some purpose in mind, right? That we're hoping to to connect with. So I had a number of intentions when I went down there, and a big piece of this is really, opening up to more to my sacred feminine energy, connecting with my sexual energy so much more. That's just such a passion of mine, because we've inherited so much shit, and we've all gone through so much shit around our sexual energy and expression, right? And it's just so not supported in this society, and it's been perverted and shunned and shamed and distorted in so many ways. So I'm super passionate about my own healing journey, and then supporting others along their path to really step stronger into their power, into their truth, into whatever sexual expression is right for them and is coming from their heart, moving out of that shame-based fear-based expression and connection to our sexual energy. So this retreat was so freaking powerful and really helped me get in touch with my own sacred feminine energies. And for me, that really showed up as the dark goddess, which makes sense. I have a lot of that type of energy within myself, and I'm very drawn to the dark goddess and working with those energies. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so it's really about the death, rebirth, transformation, phoenix rising from the ashes. So getting deep into our psyche and deep into motivations and fear-based energies and belief systems, like really getting into what is running beneath the surface in our unconscious that is showing up and controlling our conscious lived experience, right? And so many of the unhealthy relationship patterns I'm thinking of, so much of that is unconscious learned behavior and patterns. And I'm so passionate about supporting us to come into healthy union, first and foremost with ourselves, right? With the divine within ourselves. It's all within, right? And then with another, should we choose to connect with another, and especially sexually, right? But it doesn't have to be sexually, and like in sexuality, sexual connection and a sexual relationship with another can look wildly different than what we've been told it's supposed to look like. So really helping us to expand and explore into that, and what is it for us? What is our sexual energy? What is our expression? What turns us on? What doesn't? And how do we communicate that, and how do we get clear? And it's quite a journey, it's quite a process, and it's really learning ourselves and sifting through all the unhealthy shit that we've taken on as we've gone along, right? So yeah, back to that dark goddess energy. That's just really, and really owning it. Like, yeah, that is my energy. I really connect to that, and just stepping into that and owning it, not shunning or shaming it. And some people are more expressing in kind of a love and light fashion, right? And it's real soft and gentle, kind of feminine. That's not me. That's not how my feminine energy shows up. And I've, kind of shunned and shamed myself for that. Why does it have to be so intense? Why do I have to go to these extremes? Why does it have to be dark? It's just like, that's just part of it. That's just part of life. It's balancing shadows and light. It's balancing and integrating all aspects of ourselves, and not poo-pooing, not shunning our sexuality into the shadows. The shadows are only shadows because we've put things in the shadows, right? The things that we are ashamed of. And I mean, a lot of that is learned, of course, but there's things that we're just afraid to share of ourselves, and we create a lot of our own shadow experience. So we need to dive into the shadow, connect with those parts of ourselves that we've hidden and put into the shadow, and integrate, connect, reclaim, integrate, and find balance, bring it all in. So that's kind of where I'm a little bit more comfortable, I guess, is going into that shadow and bringing that back for us and helping us to, again, reclaim. And our sexuality has been so put into the shadows, right? Our sexual energy and expression, and it's coming out sideways for a lot of us. It's just, we're not coming out at all. I'm very repressed. So I'm super passionate about helping us to reconnect, reclaim, integrate, empower, stepping strong into it. So that was one thing I connected with down there, was more of that dark goddess energy, which was really stunning and exquisite and gorgeous, and owning it, and really understanding so much more of our divinity, our power, and stepping into that, and the sacred feminine, and more of a balance. Again, I have a lot of, I have 3 planets in Scorpio, 3 in Libra, so it's not surprising that I'm really interested in more balance, bringing more balance between our sacred feminine and sacred masculine energies. So healing our own wounded masculine energies within, healing our relationship with the masculine. There's so much anger and resentment and shut down around the masculine, and not being open to receive the masculine, because a lot of it's been toxic, right? So that's our own journey. How do we open more into receiving the masculine energies? And that means we have to receive our own healthy masculine energies and move through our own wounded masculine, which we've embodied big time in this culture, right? A lot of us are rocking out more masculine than feminine, and so we're having to sift through all that, let go of the overachieving, overdoing, hyper masculine ways of being, so much in the mind, reconnect to our hearts, reconnect to our intuition, reconnect to our emotions in a healthy way, not letting those take over, or repress them in a way that's not healthy for us. So I really connected to, in this ayahuasca ceremony, there was also an opportunity to do a San Pedro and a bufo or sapo ceremony, which is a venom from a toad. That's a DMT. That was so unbelievably powerful and gorgeous and beautiful and purging and cleansing in a way that I never could have imagined. It was really clearing so much tension and stress and fear from my pelvic region. In that ceremony, I reclaimed my feminine, I reclaimed my body, I reclaimed my pleasure from so many lifetimes and generations, and from the collective energies, right? It's just, we've really shut down to our bodies, and we're shut down to the real amount of pleasure that is possible. A lot of us are numb or experiencing pain during sexual experiences. We've really shut down. Again, we're not receptive. We're very tense and fearful. There's fear around getting pregnant. There's fear around not being able to say yes or no. There's fear around performance. There's fear around what's expected of us afterwards. There's so much, right? And so we carry so much of that tension in our pelvic region and in our entire body. And it really shuts us down to the actual pleasure and doesn't allow us to let go into the beauty of our sexual energy. We're very scared of the actual power of our sexual energy, I believe. I have really done a lot to hold myself back, and it's been a reclaiming and a reopening and an allowing and clearing that fear and tension. So this retreat was so freaking powerful for clearing so much, and I really felt myself waking up, like physically, through this DMT experience, like the actual purging and of dark energies that are much bigger than this planet, right? That are just heavy on the planet, that are clearing out. They're clearing out. So much is clearing out. And that's why this retreat at this time was really important for me. I'm in my Chiron return. I've got Pluto square Uranus, so some real tension between some big heavy hitters, and just things that are going on in my chart that really supportive of, and just eclipses and solar flares. And there's so much clearing us out right now, right? Elevating our frequencies. So any way that we can really super support this process, freaking powerful. So I went down there, I went down here, I'm still in Peru, to clear, and really support this process in the best way possible. So I felt this particular ceremony, I felt this at a very visceral level. I felt a lot of pleasure returning back into my my pelvic region, into my yoni, into my vulva. I just felt like all this energy clearing out, and just like, oh my God, it was I guess a bit erotic, but more just empowering. It was just like a total rebirth, and I set the intention for that, just a real reclaiming of my energies, and a reclaiming of my pleasure, a reclaiming of my sexuality, and it was very powerful. There were a number of experiences over the week that were really supporting the clearing. Mother Ayahuasca, she's I call it the vine of death. And for me, that was a death of these old energies, old belief systems, old ways of being that are not serving. But clearing them, I did a lot of ancestor healing as well. I cleared them from my family, my lineage, and I have two families. I was adopted, so I have my adoptive family and my biological family. So I was doing a lot of healing for all of them, and all of the strange patterns that all of us have taken on, all the pain, all the shame around sexuality, all the unhealthy relationship patterns, the codependency, and the fear of being ourselves, the fear of shining our light bright, and what we need to do to try to get love from another, to try to feel accepted. We've really shut ourselves down in so many ways, and the grief. I really connected with the grief of the feminine and the masculine, the grief of humanity, but the grief of the feminine for so many years, generations, thousands of years of abuse and fear of the masculine, right? So there was a lot of that clearing as well. So there was so much around my mother, the mother wound. I have again, I was adopted, so this, losing my mother at birth had a really powerful effect on me, and has been a huge a thing throughout my life. So I was doing a lot of clearing around that, and there was like wailing from the depths of my being, the pain of that loss. I went back to my birth, the actual birth experience, and there was so much clearing that was happening, and really understanding the shame experience of being in the womb. My mother, of course, didn't want to be pregnant, and it wasn't it was a shameful experience for her, from what I understand, and of course, right? So leaving that, I had the experience during the first ayahuasca ceremony of leaving the womb, being born, and just like I couldn't wait to get out. I couldn't wait to get free of this kind of toxic environment, right? And I've had some other experiences with an astrology reader, a shaman, and a psychic that all said there was, without even knowing I was adopted, they pointed to some things with my mother, some very unhealthy, toxic, maybe psychological, mental health issues. I'm not sure about addiction, but possibly around that my mother was experiencing. And this was with me not even mentioning anything about my adoption. It was just like going back to the birth and back to the source, like by looking at my astrology chart or doing a soul retrieval with a shaman. There was so I understand it was, and just from my own intuition, right? I mean, I know myself. I don't need other people to tell me. They were just kind of validating what I already knew. It was not a healthy place to be in the womb. So I couldn't wait to get out. And this birth experience was showing me being born, and just like I was so excited to get out and just get free. But then when I got out, I was just like, oh shit, now what, like there's nobody here to catch me, because it wasn't my mother. I left my mother, which is like all I'd ever known. Very excited to get out, but then it was just like, oh shit, and so then I wanted to go back in. I wanted to go back into that environment, even though it was toxic. It was all I'd known, and it showed me how I've been recreating these experiences in unhealthy relationship patterns and through other people I've connected with, and through just my own self-talk and belief systems and around worthiness and shame and blah blah blah, right? We're working with it, we're all dealing with that at some level. So it showed how I am just kind of addicted. Joseph Spencer talks about this a lot, how we get addicted to our emotions and the chemicals that are released from our emotions. We get addicted to those, so we will just keep doing things to recreate and to keep ourselves in that and breaking free of that habit and that pattern and those addictive chemicals of the body, right? Of the body. It takes work and effort and consciousness. So this was really showing me how because a big part of what I was doing down here at this retreat was to clear shame. I want to be free from guilt and shame just for my very existence. This has been an ongoing lesson for me, and the things I've been moving through, and over the past 6 months to a year, it's gotten really big and really in my face, seeing all the ways that shame does play a part in my life around things that there's no need to be shameful for. It's just like what degree I chose, what was my master's degree. Initially I felt shame around that decision to go for my master's. That's weird, right? I mean, that's what the addiction is. We get addicted to this and we'll create it for ourselves regardless of the outside circumstances. So it was really showing me that I just keep myself in this shame pattern and emotion and feeling, because that's what I'm used to and that's what I'm made of and that's what I came from. So it was really like explaining that to me, and it was very powerful to see that and go, oh wow. So now I know I have a lot more empowerment around that and how to move forward and to break that cycle for myself, because I've been working on it really hard, right? I don't want to have that feeling. So and I'm sharing all of this with you because I want to share with you the power of these plant medicines. And, I know they're coming into the collective more, and I believe it's because we're ready for this type of healing. And that's not to say that all of these retreats are, you got to do your research. This place came up for me, and the reviews were excellent, excellent, excellent. Every review was amazing. Like the most transformative experience of my life. Oh my God, the most amazing week of my life. Oh my God, I would do this again in a heartbeat. Like so many good reviews and hundreds of like, oh, this is my place. I'm just feeling very safe. I documented every single day of this retreat. So I'm gonna, and I put it on my other YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where I'm supporting men around sacred sexuality. So I'm gonna put the link to the playlist below, because I don't want to repeat myself. I've shared about all of this and I'll get into detail about each ceremony each day, and about the facility, about the facilitators, the whole process, the whole experience. I dive deep into it because I really want it to be clear for people if they're interested in this type of retreat and this type of healing and this type of purging. Again, every experience is going to be different. Everybody's going to have a different experience, but I really wanted to like explain the process, explain the facility, explain just a much bigger picture. There's a lot of information out there. So, and again, this is my experience, right? And I say that many times throughout this. So yours is going to be your own, but if you're called to it and you're interested in learning more about that, check out the playlist below, and a number of videos really going through the process. So it'll help you get a better understanding if this is right for you, and what to look for if you are looking for a retreat. I give some criteria, some things for you to look out for and contemplate when you're making this decision, and why you might want to go to somewhere more authentic, native, versus somewhere in America. And I'm not saying that all retreats in America are not good. That's not it at all. But there's I understand why coming here to Peru and coming to the heart of the matter is really powerful, and I explain all of that in those videos. So but just for me on my sacred feminine empowerment path, I was going to say healing path, but I'm calling it an empowerment path. Clearing all of the old belief systems, all the old shit we've taken on, all the abuse, all the inherited trauma, intergenerational trauma, all the collective shit, all the shit from religions, original sin, so much on the feminine body and the feminine experience, that we've taken on, that we are really moving through in support of our evolution of humanity, evolution of the collective, and helping us all to return back to the feminine, back to a healthy balance between the feminine and the masculine that's been so imbalanced for so long. So I feel like this is an important part of our journey if it calls to you and speaks to you. And it was huge for me. And I feel like I made, leaps and bounds in my process. And not everybody's ready for this, right? So if it calls to you, you're going to know. And that's part of our trusting our intuition, right? Maybe this is just like, it doesn't speak to me. That's great. That's fine. But I just want to share about it for those that it does. It was huge. And I'm really feeling so much more sexual pleasure and awakening. And during my breathwork practice this morning, I'm just really seeing now how it's starting to integrate and how it's going to carry forward, because that's where the proof is in the pudding. It's not in just the experience. Like, how do I take all this forward? How do I carry this wisdom forward? How does this clearing show up for me in this day-to-day lived experience? What are the actual long-term benefits of an experience like this, and is there actual clearing and healing, or was it just like a powerful experience, right? So I think that's really important, and what I'm wanting to, part of why I'm wanting to document this as well, because a lot of people like to poo-poo plant medicine and say it's just a thing and there's no actual healing, and that has not been my experience at all, through psilocybin and now through this. More will be revealed on this one as we go forward, but I've had major healing, long-lasting, long-term healing from psilocybin, and that's not going back. It wasn't just a cool experience, it was actual healing and clearing and an embodied wisdom, a new way to move forward, and awakening and spiritual growth, very, very powerful. And so people, I think that poo-poo the plant medicines oftentimes haven't even tried the plant medicine, so they don't really know. And again, it's not for everybody, and there's intention. If you just go into an experience with psilocybin with no intention of healing, then it's just going to be some psychedelic fun thing, maybe, I don't know. But I use these medicines very intentionally for supporting my spiritual growth, my evolution, my awakening, my healing process, so that's why it does that for me, so maybe there's some validity in that. If you're not going in with that intention, sure, maybe it's just a cool experience, but the potential is there, and a lot of people are understanding this now, and it's starting to come into our medical system more, and starting to move into the collective, because it is real, it is powerful, it is extremely beneficial, healing people from addictions and psychological disorders, or I don't know, issues, whatever we want to call that, trauma, PTSD, actual healing is happening and shifts are happening. So that's why I want to share about this, and share about, it was so powerful for my sacred feminine journey. That's why I wanted to get on here and share with you. Again, I've been putting a lot of my attention over into my other outlet to support men, but this was so powerful for women, and for this process, for what I'm moving through, reclaiming the sacred feminine, reclaiming divine feminine, and healing the wounded feminine, and then reclaiming my connection with the masculine, with the sacred masculine, allowing it, receiving it, allowing it into my life in a much bigger, more powerful way, clearing the fear around the masculine through all timelines, lifetimes, realms, and dimensions. This is big, it's collective, it's a cellular level, it's a DNA level, like really healing my DNA as well. So I really wanted to share about this with you all, and if it speaks to you, please, do your research. See, I'll put a link to, it's called Arakana Spiritual Center, and this is in Sacred Valley, Peru. That's the one that I went to, and there's a number of different retreats. And again, if you're interested, I get into more of what to look for at these retreat centers, and why this one might speak to you, and because that's important, you know, when you're starting off, because I went through this process, like, I don't even know where to start to look for this, you know, retreat. I don't even know where to look for this experience. And there's so much information online, I discovered. So I quickly discovered what kind of criteria, what was I looking for. So I kind of help walk you through that a little bit and share that with you. So if it speaks to you, if you're curious, go check it out. Feel free to contact me through my website if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to share more about my experience or answer anything that you might want to know. And you know, hopefully stay tuned for some more videos and more and I still offer sessions for women. I love to connect with women and support them. So I have spiritual guidance sessions, I have energy and sound healing sessions, I have a couple of powerful programs, so and live information on my YouTube channel. So many resources on my website, so feel free to check that out. And yeah, stay tuned for more, because I'm getting guidance now. It's time to start reconnecting with women in a bigger way again. So so I look forward to that. Because it's a powerful journey, a powerful process. And yeah, much is coming through. We're in a beautiful time right now to really reclaim, and so many of us are. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Thank you for being a part of my journey, and I'm wishing you so much love. Bye all.